If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Thursday night. Calling in right now is Secretary Doug Burgum to give us an update of what's going on in our country. Well, Secretary Burgum, thank you for calling in. What's on your mind today?
What's on my mind? I'm looking ahead a little bit to next Tuesday. President Trump's going to be able to deliver an incredible State of the State, and when he's going to be talking about the promises he made and the promises he delivered. But whether it's taming inflation, producing record amounts of energy, which helps lower the price of gas, of food, of housing. Those are all going down. American jobs, American wages, investment, all of that is way up in America. President Trump, taking these historic steps to bring down things like the price of prescription drugs. I mean, that's unbelievable. And he said he was going to secure the border, and we've got the most secure border in history. And then President Trump bringing, strength to the world stage, ending wars. When there's peace abroad, there's prosperity at home. But I would just say, John, the thing that's on my mind today is like not every American, because of what I'll call the blue state problem. We have blue states that are still chasing this green dream fantasy. And in doing that, they're driving up the prices. I mean, we saw it in the storm that just came through the Northeast here recently. We got people in New York are paying 3 and 4 times more on their utility bills for electricity and heat than other parts of the country. And that, as President Trump is working to solve these problems, but we got states that have just created a regulatory morass that is driving up the price for consumers. So I would say, we have great numbers for the whole country, but they're being dragged down by states, including New York and California, whose policies are blocking pipelines and preventing, causing high gasoline prices, high heating cost prices, reducing consumer choice, passing laws telling people they can only buy, certain kinds of things for water heaters and for home heat. It is, again, we'll keep fighting for every American, but I know it's frustrating for President Trump that not every American is feeling the lift because some states that are opposed to President Trump are actually hurting their own citizens with higher costs of energy and higher costs of utility bills.
We're talking to blue states and red states. Have the blue states, did somebody go around during the Biden administration and sell the blue states the Brooklyn Bridge? That's an old joke in New York. We're selling you the Brooklyn Bridge because the cost of energy in the blue states is so much more than the red states. For example, I know in New York State where I live, those windmills, if they're completed, if their course is being completed, the cost of electricity is going to be 200, 300, 400% more than regular electricity.
Yeah, offshore wind in particular only exists because of subsidies. President Trump, who cares about the American people, with the working families tax cut bill that got passed last summer, that the bill that said there's no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, starting to, help all the Americans that are that work. In that also ended the subsidies of these egregious projects that were creating some of the highest cost electricity. And, Americans shouldn't be forced to subsidize expensive, unreliable, insecure, meaning foreign source of energy. They're driving up utility bills because they have to pay for it on their utility bill and they had to pay for it in the subsidies coming out of D.C. So President Trump's trying to stop those. Then we have states, deep blue states, like California and New York that are, they're suing the federal government to keep going on this stuff that everybody in the rest of the world understands is not economic and it doesn't provide security for the grid. You can't shut down 7 by 24 reliable sources of energy and then replace it with something that is completely dependent on the sun shining or the wind blowing. I mean, who would build something? I mean, John, you're a business guy. You wouldn't build a business and say, my grocery stores are going to be open only when the sun is shining and when the wind is blowing. But putting our grid at risk like that. And so anyway, If you like companies getting rich off government subsidies and delivering higher energy prices, then great. Keep voting for Democrats and climate extremists that support those policies. But if you want low prices and if you want energy security and if you want to keep money in your own pocket, because the estimate is that the states that mandated wind and solar, they cost the consumers over $30 billion annually. I mean, that's just like reaching in somebody's pocket and stealing money, when you're walking by you on the street like a pickpocket. And there's just no reason for it because we've got all the clean energy in America that can deliver 7x24 secure energy.
Well, Secretary Burgum, you're 100% right, and we'll talk some more, but it's costing the blue states a lot of money. It's costing Americans a lot of money in those states, and thank you so much for pointing it out, and let's catch up again real soon. Maybe we'll talk on Sunday and talk about the State of the Union message. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially healthcare. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.